This video is brought to you by Aaron Clary, author of The Curse of the High IQ, all of our wonderful fans on Patreon, and viewers like you. Thank you.
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
There's a few hours left until the inevitable demise of my sanity, so I thought I'd spend that time talking about Solo, a Star Wars story. First up, this tweet that was sent to us from our good friend Derek. It comes from China Box Office. Solo, a Star Wars story gets off to a dismal start in China with an estimated 0.75 million yen, or $120,000, from midnights. A less than $10 million opening weekend incoming, and a complete collapse thereafter as the franchise continues its downward spiral in China. Karma. And here's the comparisons. The Force Awakens had 16 million yen on their opening night. Rogue One 3.7, The Last Jedi 3.5. That's 3.5 million, far too much. And before you say, who's this Twitter user? Why is he important? China Box Office is the personal account for Jonathan Papish, Chinese film industry analyst for China Film, Chinese to English audiovisual and literary translator. He's been around since 2012, so I really don't think this guy has any reason to lie. But it just goes to show you what a failed experiment Star Wars was in China. Now, you'd think they'd learn their lesson with The Last Jedi, but as Diversity in Comics always says, these people always double down. And Disney is definitely doubling down with Ranger Solo being released in China. So, conservatively, I'm guessing that it'll be out of theaters by next Tuesday. Okay, that's probably a little too much of a guess, but I say it makes it a week in China. That's it, just 1 week. And that's, I guess, kind of sad. What's also sad, though, is that I've had a listener contact me who has some insider information, and they've told me about Hasbro in China. Now, I can't give away every little piece of information due to legal reasons, but they've explained to me that Hasbro is aware of the Star Wars situation, and there's been a lot of money lost trying to bring Star Wars merchandise into China. It's weird to have satisfaction knowing that these movies are failing in China, but the last couple of years have been rough for American audiences in terms of these big budget films because it's always about trying to appease the Chinese box office. Iron Man 3 has alternate stuff. They don't put certain things in Transformers movies. There was that weird box of milk or whatever it was in the fourth Transformers. They all went to Shanghai. I didn't see the movie. Point is, they do these things to appeal to the Chinese market, and the Chinese market doesn't want these things. They like the Avengers movies and stuff like that, but they don't want Star Wars. Now, I'm not saying they're making changes to these films to appease the Chinese in Star Wars terms, but I bet there's some behind-the-scenes things, some research and development, some reasons why they do certain things to appeal to that audience. By the way, the Avengers Infinity War earned an estimated 494 million yen on Saturday of its opening weekend. That's the second largest single day in history behind Monster Hunt's 2 opening in China. So, American movies do make a lot of money in other parts of the world, especially China, but just not Star Wars. Now, people say it's because Star Wars didn't debut there back in the day and people had to find it. And that's probably the case. I'm not going to deny those things. But I'm not going to deny the fact that people in other parts of the world aren't excited to see it. So our good friend Darren sent us this image from the opening night of Solo in England. I count 3 people that aren't working. Well, 4 if you count the guy in the corner by the Sicario 2 poster. But we've also seen the seating charts for these movies and other videos, and personally, I didn't have trouble finding a ticket for this movie 2 days ago, and in the best prime spot as well. Maybe I'll do a quick live stream at my theater to see what it's going to be like in terms of turnout. But maybe if you guys send us messages over on Twitter, on Facebook around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll remember to do that. Before I close out this video talking about Solo, let's talk about something else stupid, who comes from our good friend, Donald Glover, a.k.a. Don Glover. Now this comes from FlickeringMyth.com. Solo, a Star Wars story's Donald Glover prefers Kylo Ren to Darth Vader. No. Basically, Glover says that Kylo Ren has an interesting sense of humor. He's intense. I get his story. So I kind of have to go with Kylo Ren. He's intense? I mean, he bitches and cries and breaks elevators and shit. When Darth Vader gets angry, he just chokes people. Or he leaves in silence, and that's even scarier. So you see, Donald, this is why you'll never be regarded as a great actor. You're just part of a comedy act. And that's fine. You're good for what you do. I don't listen to your music, so I can't critique that. But I've seen you act, and I'm not impressed. Kylo Ren isn't even the greatest villain of any Star Wars film. Hell, even the ones he's in, he's not the best villain. Rey's a better villain in The Force Awakens. Holdo's a better villain in The Last Jedi. Hell, you're a better villain in Solo, a Star Wars story. You've ruined Lando. Maybe you didn't make him pansexual, but you suck. Speaking of sucking, The Independent. Voices, Solo, a Star Wars story, shows us the hero all feminist men have been waiting for. I'm not even going to read this. I just brought it to your attention that it exists. So, yeah. I honestly don't know what to say about that. Besides, it sounds stupid. But here's the problem. It's not that these people don't deserve the right to voice their opinion. The problem is that people like this get in the ear of Lucasfilm and these woke movie producers, and they make crap that doesn't appeal to the audience. So, in China, they just don't put up with American politics in their films, so they just don't go see it. In America, we have to put up with this shit and be told we're sexist and racist and all that stuff. But also in America, we can stick it right back to these people, and we are. Solo's projected to open 15% lower than it was supposed to. The movie's not going to be a huge hit. It's going to be an embarrassing mark on the legacy of Kathleen Kennedy. And personally, to say the words, the legacy of Kathleen Kennedy, hurts me. It's a dark mark on my soul, if I still had one. That's it. This is just meant to be a quick little video before Solo comes out. I'll be in the theater 6 hours from now. I'm not looking forward to it. Maybe I'll call up my dentist and get a root canal, or maybe I'll just suffer through this film for all of you people. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, share it, tell everyone about World Class Bullshitters. We're growing every day. This has been a huge week for us, and it's been a lot of fun. If you have a chance, check out our Patreon page. $1 a month goes a long way. $5, which is only 17 cents a day, goes even further. You get access to all kinds of exclusive digital content, as well as being on the show. Last night, the 23rd of May, 2018, we had a handful of our patrons on. We had a wonderful time. We went for almost 5.5 hours, and we're going to try to do that every month. So there are a bunch of you already. Let's keep the numbers going up. Help World Class Bullshitters grow. Let's make a change. Get involved with the channel, and we can change entertainment for the good. I'll be back in a couple hours, as I said, and wish me luck.